Hey everybody, First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trihy with you on this Saturday afternoon. Hope you're staying warm. Whew, it's still cold. So in this live stream, I want to talk about the cold. I want to talk about the storm that will more than likely miss us with snow, but then have coastal impacts as well. Let's start with the cold. We have this cold weather advisory continuing until tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., because we're looking at wind chills that are in the single digits above and below zero. So pick out your town. You're more than likely in this because all of Delmarva is in this cold weather advisory through tomorrow morning for Sussex County, all of Delaware, the Eastern Shore, and then farther south into Wycomico and Worcester counties until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. The cold is with us. Look at this. We're only in the low 20s. We had a record cold high yesterday, and it's possible we could do it again today. Only 21 in Georgetown and Millsboro and 21 in Lewis. You factor in the winds, and boy, it is just really cold. Feels like 9 in Bethany Beach, 8 in Ocean City, 11 in Gumboro and Georgetown right now. So let's talk about the coastal storm. It is now developing off the North Carolina coast, and right now it looks like many of us will not even see snow, especially if you're north of Highway 9 in Sussex County. South of that, we have low chances, maybe some light snow and flurries as we go into the evening and overnight hours. There will be a sharp cutoff to the north and west, and we'll see that coming up shortly on the models and the satellite picture. And we could see a few inches southern Worcester and Accomack counties. I think the heavier snow is focused across the Tidewater, Virginia, Hampton Roads, and back into the Carolinas as well. We will feel the wind impacts of the storm as it explodes over the Atlantic. We're going to see northeast winds picking up tonight into Sunday with gusts of 35 to 45 miles per hour plus inland areas and over 50 miles per hour at the coast. So winds that strong, you're going to have to secure those outdoor items because they will be blowing around, and coastal flooding certainly on the table. I think we're looking at minor tidal flooding as we go into Sunday and Monday with these strong northeast winds, large crashing waves, and at times of high tide, that's when we could see some inundation at the coast. And we have a full moon on Monday, so that coupled with the tide cycles, that's going to cause beach erosion as we go through time. So here's the latest satellite picture. We have that milky overcast outside right now, and it looks like snow trying to break out around the Crisfield area. Is it hitting the ground? Well, probably not, because we have so much dry air in place. But here's a wider view of the satellite looking south. Now, there's the low starting to develop offshore off the North and South Carolina coast. You can see the swirl here that is developing. I'm going to try to draw around this little circle here and show you this area of low pressure. Actually, that is an arrow, but what we have here is a developing area of low pressure, and it's starting to really strengthen. We're seeing an upper level low catching up with the surface low, and as it moves over the Gulf Stream waters, the Atlantic, this storm will blow up, already dumping heavy snow across the Outer Banks of North Carolina, Elizabeth City, Kill Devil Hills, back to Greenville, Havelock, Hatteras as well, seeing the heavy snow. And then there's another piece of energy, an upper level low across western North Carolina. So it's like a little dry slide in between through Raleigh and back into the Wilmington area, but more heavy snow back to the west. But once this upper level low catches up to the surface low, this thing is going to go gangbusters offshore. But I think much of this is tracking to our south. Now, it looks like it's trying to move to the north. There's Norfolk getting into maybe a little bit of light snow, and then Cape Charles as well. But then you go farther north, and we are dry. And I think that'll be the case for really much of this event. It looks like some of the snow trying to make its way into Westover and Crisfield right now. But once again, with high pressure in place, a lot of this is not hitting the ground, but it more than likely is across North Carolina. And that's where the lion's share of the heavier snow will be as we go for the duration of the storm, as we see it continuing to spin, and it'll be tracking off to the north and east. Now, I had this animation last night. Now, as this storm tracks to the east, it's going to keep a lot of that snow shield to the south as well. And you see it as it explodes off the Cape Hatteras coast. It'll be tracking to the east and northeast, but the winds will start to crank up as we go through the overnight hours into your Sunday. So here's our in-house model on Futurecast, and you can see it's not showing hardly any snow. Here's a 7:30 hour, and as we continue on with the animation, you can see how very little snow is making its way into our neck of the woods. So I put this in motion. So here's 7 p.m., 11 p.m., and we have some snow offshore, but nothing really on the peninsula. And then we go even farther into the future tonight into Sunday morning. Where's the snow? It's offshore. We're just looking at clouds and the winds beginning to crank up. And then by Sunday morning, this model actually has us starting to see some sunshine with the snow offshore with that big area of low pressure, and then just kind of windy as we go into your Sunday. Now, here's a European model. This model and the Canadian model have been the most aggressive with bringing in snow. So let's take a look at this. You can see how even here, the shield of snow has moved farther south. Yesterday, they had some of this snow into Sussex County. Now they don't have any snow in Sussex County at all. Maybe just a very short period of light snow and flurries back through Chincoteague and Ocean City, and then that's it. Then we're just cloudy and windy as we go into Sunday, and then clearing out on Monday. Now, the main impacts we're going to feel from this are building and crashing waves. Now, as we go through the overnight and into Sunday, we're going to be looking at waves really beginning to build up. Actually, I'm going to back this up a little bit, but you can see how the waves start to build through about the 3 to 6 foot range, and then they get pretty big. As we go into 2 p.m. Sunday, you start to see that yellowish color. Those are some 8 and 9 foot waves that'll be crashing around Ocean Pines and Ocean View, and maybe upwards of 12 footers offshore. Crashing waves like that, coupled with high tides, astronomical high tides, will cause beach erosion. And we'll have to see if we get a breach perhaps around the Indian River Inlet area. I know they've shored that up with sand, so we'll have to watch that. And then the waves still pretty high into Sunday evening, and then they back off. As we go into Monday morning, you can see how the yellow colors turn green. And because of that flooding threat, coastal flood advisory, Sussex County, that goes into effect tomorrow morning and then continues until the noon hour. So you know who you are, those favorite low spots. When we get these kind of coastal storms, we could get 1 to maybe 2 feet of inundation, Little Assawoman Bay, some of the inland bays as well along the Delaware coast. And then farther south, we have a coastal flood advisory for Worcester County, and this goes until Sunday morning. So very late tonight into early Sunday. That's kind of the time period that we're concerned about for seeing some of that inundation. But the snow chances continue to dwindle. Now, this is a snow map that I built last night, and you can see that we have a coating to maybe an inch of snow, maybe a coating from Highway 9, and then points south towards Salisbury, Millsboro, Ocean View, Ocean Pines. But I tell you what, it looks like a very small chance, and maybe an inch to 3 inches Chincoteague and farther south into Accomack County. Right now, it looks like that chance continues to diminish as the storm is tracking off to our south. Want to talk about the winds, because those will be a factor as we go into Sunday morning. You can see gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour plus. I think we could see some gusts over 50 at the beaches as we go into tomorrow. And once again, that'll cause some problems, and some of that water will definitely be sloshing around in those bays as we go into late Sunday morning. 30 to maybe 50 mile per hour winds Sunday morning. By 5 p.m. they do start to back off a little bit, but still gusting around 25 to 30 miles per hour. And as we go into the afternoon hours, it's going to be cold. We're looking at temperatures only in the lower 20s this afternoon, so don't want to ignore the cold. That's the other part of this story. We're tracking that coastal storm, but we're also tracking the cold, lower 20s this afternoon, and then into this evening into the upper teens. And then we have feels like temperatures that are in the teens, but feeling like single digits above zero as we go into the morning hours. That's why we continue with that cold weather advisory. And if you're just joining us, I just want to highlight that once again, that cold weather advisory for all of Delaware, Eastern Shore, and pretty much our whole area until Sunday morning for that risk of wind chill values that could dip below zero at times. But right now we're thinking the wind chill should stay above zero, and The temperatures will be down into the teens and 20s. We do start to slowly moderate those temperatures as we go into next week. I should put warm up in quotes because we're only warming into the 30s, maybe above freezing a little bit on Groundhog Day, and then mid-30s into the middle part of the week, and maybe another little rain snow system at that time, not looking major. But we'll continue to update you on socials, on Coast TV, on the Coast TV apps, and also on coasttv.com. And I'll be here this evening also on Coast TV News at 6 and 11. Thanks for joining us on this live stream. We'll keep you up to date on the cold and the storm as we go through the weekend. Have a great time.